Welcome to episode 12 of the Unvarnished Edit, where two friends talk about what it's actually like to live an adversity filled life. Be prepared to laugh, possibly cry, and swear along with us. This is Angie, and today is the last episode of season 1. We discuss our favorite moments and give you a sneak peek into what we'll be up to in season 2. We hope you enjoy. Can you believe that we
Hello.
are
How are
at the
you?
very last episode of season 1?
No, I know. I was like starting to work on my notes and how do I feel about the recap? And I don't know, it feels like we just barely started. We just barely did this. What do you mean we're
Yes.
recapping?
And
And also, it feels like that. And also, how am I supposed to recap all of this? So
yes.
much has
And
happened.
also, we've done it.
I
Like, this
know.
is a
I'm
big
so proud
thing
of
for
this.
both of us. You all may not know this,
Yeah.
but for you might have picked it up, like, throughout the episodes, the other 11 episodes we've done. However, this is a big thing for Jaelene and I to do something that is
It is and
so personal. But I
public.
public speak, and I've spoke to hundreds of people,
You
and
do.
I've done hundreds of presentations, and so but this is
But this is like
personal
personal
public,
public.
and personal public, we don't
Yeah.
do. Like, for example, my husband, started this
Nope.
job, and he had, like, met some people, and he goes, "If you didn't have an issue with it," he goes, "I would totally invite them over." And I said, "To my house?" And he I know, and he
Where
goes,
I
"Yeah." I
live?
was like, "What?" I go, "No." And he goes, "No, I know that you wouldn't." He goes, "But if you were okay with it, we would." I go and I'm still stuck in it, and I was like, "To my house, work people? Like, no." I go, "We don't mix. We don't mix that."
No.
And so for,
No.
seeing going like, we've done this whole season, and it's been very
Yeah,
personal
and
and
it's like,
public. I'm very proud.
I
Really
I'm
proud.
actually really proud of us for, setting an endpoint and saying, "We're gonna take a break, we're only gonna do 1 season," because obviously, the way that we normally operate is, let's just do this until we've exhausted
Mhm.
ourselves and burn out and then
Mhm.
give up, right? Um, and and also the personal part of it, I'm just barely starting to get comfortable with it. And now we're taking a break, and I'm like, "Oh no, what if I go through this again?"
Yes, but next season, we will have some guests, so it won't be
We will.
it's still gonna be
We will.
personal, but yeah.
It's still gonna be the
Yes.
topics are really personal. We're gonna
Yeah.
get to those at the end. We're
Yeah.
gonna do a little recap at the end. But for our recap, I'm curious. We made a couple notes of what we were gonna talk about. So I'm gonna ask you, what have
Okay,
you
so
learned?
the biggest thing I think for me this whole entire season, like, the one thing that I really came away with was our episode on forgiveness. Like, that was so powerful for me to remove the abusive power of the word forgiveness from it, and to just make
Yeah.
it a concept again, and one that actually, like, helped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of yeah, it gave me the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
automatic, like, ick, just saying the word. What about you?
I think there have been a couple moments in different episodes where I've been like, I've
Mhm,
realized
mhm.
something, or I've learned something about myself. I've learned, actually, I'm surprised at how much I've learned about you, because we're so
Yeah.
familiar with each other. I think my answer is a little bit
Mhm.
more behind the scenes. I think this is the first thing I've done in a extremely long time that I was not already good
Oh,
at. And this is the first real growth project that I've done where I am in completely unfamiliar territory from the get. And so I think what I've learned the most is how wonderful it feels to be in the
yeah.
learning space. And that's been a really big growth for me, is that I have continued to show up every week not knowing what I'm doing. And not only does that go for the public speaking part of it, it's also the behind the scenes. You and I are
Mhm.
editing everything, all of the software, all of the uploading,
Mhm.
all of the metrics, all of the social media clips, all of that. You and I are doing it
Mhm.
like bootstrapping, right? And I've learned so much, and I've learned some things that I'm good at that I didn't know I was good at. I've learned some things that, like, oh, you know what? Angie is way better at this, and I'm not even gonna touch it. Um, and I've learned how to be less of a. There was one episode, I think you're gonna know what I'm talking about, that behind the scenes, you were having a hard time editing because of some
Yeah.
software issues that we had. And you said you sent it to me and you were like, well, if we can figure out how to unlock this thing, I can't update the captions.
Yeah.
It's not working right. And
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it. And
No.
it was not that big of a deal. The
No.
captions were not that wrong.
It was
There
just
was
edited.
nothing. And you had completely edited the entire episode. There was nothing wrong with it, but there were some words spelled
Mhm.
wrong that you couldn't fix. And I could not handle it. I did what now I view as a
Yeah.
completely insane thing. I opened your version and I played it side by side, the raw version, and I redid your edit because I wanted it to look like the way
Mhm.
you had edited it. I didn't want to re-edit it. I wanted to be respectful of your work, but I wanted to
Mhm.
fix the captions. So I literally spent
Jaelene, why
hours
didn't you
watching
tell
your
me
edit
that?
and Matt
Well,
because you
you
would
are,
tell me
but
I'm
that's
crazy.
fine. We could have figured I could have figured out a
I
different
know.
way.
No, I couldn't. No, because then I would have had to make you do more work, and I can't do that. This was like so inside my
Yeah.
pathology,
Yeah.
my perfectionism,
Yeah.
my boundaries. Like this was so
Yeah.
inside so many things. So I didn't tell you how much time it took me to do, but if you think about it, matching
Yes.
someone else's edit to the raw footage
Yes.
takes a lot of time. And I fixed all the captions. And all I did was
Yep.
say, okay, here you go. I just redid that. And like I told you what I did, and you were like, why did you do that? You didn't have to do that. And I was like, don't worry about it. Just post it. Everything's fine. Not long after that, I know, you guys, this is so inside my brain. Not long after that, I had coffee with my oldest child and we started talking about philosophy and we started talking. I love having coffee with her because she is so smart and she brings up
Yeah.
things that I never think about. And it's such a deep intellectual conversation. And we were talking about the difference between Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy. And she had listened to a podcast where someone had said for them, or it was an interview, for them, the biggest difference between Eastern and Western philosophy is that in Eastern philosophy, the perspective is everything is in the process of becoming
Mm.
something else. And in Western philosophy, the perspective is
Mhm.
everything is what it is. And and she struggles with perfectionism as well. And that philosophy of everything is in the process of becoming something else felt like someone was like opening a jail cell for me, where I was like, I'm fine. I am literally just in the process of becoming something else. And like all of my perfectionism
Yeah.
kind of like dropped after that. And every episode since then has been so much more comfortable for me. I've not stressed about anything. Before that, I usually tried to be really careful how much time I put in between my words or how often I said the word yeah, or I was constantly
Yeah.
thinking of these things, especially if I knew you were going to edit an episode. I wanted to make it as easy as possible for you by being as efficient with my words on my side. And so about halfway through this, I
Yeah.
just like let go. And thankfully, it was right before the prison
Oof.
episode.
That's
I know,
that's a big
because
decision.
that was
Yeah.
a lot. I know
Yeah.
that one was a lot for me, as I'm sure everyone understands and knows.
I was so
That
proud
was a
of you.
lot for me.
I was so
Thank
proud
you.
of you. And I didn't honestly expect you to
Thank
go
you.
I did not expect you to give the whole entire story. And when you did, I was like, "Look at her go." Like, "Look at her go."
Yeah.
Yeah. super proud.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe not right now, but maybe in the future we'll talk about the other things that were going on in
Mhm.
my life at that time that have
I know it's been a lot. It's a lot. And we've all had life continue to go on too, during this. So,
yeah,
we literally, before we even started this last episode, we always do a personal touch base before we even hit that record button, right? Because we need to get some of that stuff that y'all are never hearing out.
yeah,
Be
yeah,
beforehand,
yeah,
but what you will hear is that last statement is like, "We cannot make up our lives." Like, if you if you try to, like, write a story of what y'all would never come close to touching the shit that goes on in
routinely.
lives.
And it's like I've had a hard time sometimes finding that balance because we're here to talk about having an adverse filled life and managing it poorly
Mhm.
and managing it well, right? And we've been doing that in a hindsight way. Sometimes we touch
Yeah,
on, like, right now, this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm doing. But at the same time that we've been doing that, you and I have both been going through some really
yeah,
challenging personal times and can't talk about it right now.
yeah,
Like, there's no way. I'm not
yeah,
ready. You're not ready. But it feels really good to come into this literal digital room with you and
mhm,
be with my friend.
yeah. Yeah. And I think that's honestly our part of our
So,
self-care though as well. Like I know that the struggle is like we're here to be vulnerable and to be raw and we're not actually talking about the things that are currently going on. We're only talking about things that have happened in the past. That is honoring the space that we're in though. Because I think a lot of times people
yeah,
think if you're going to be vulnerable, if you're going to be transparent, if you're going to be honest, like everybody needs to know everything. No, that is not the case. And Jaylene and I even have that with our husbands, right? There are things that we've talked about this before that we keep to ourselves as kind of marinating on an idea or, doing something until we are comfortable sharing it because it's just not in the space to be born yet, and it's not in that
yeah,
space to have that conversation,
yeah,
and so, yeah, we do talk about the things that have happened in the past. 1, we have plenty of material, but 2, because it's not the time and space right now to have the conversation about some of the other things that are going on, and that's
yeah,
honoring ourselves, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It
It's a boundary.
absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's easier to talk about something when you've had time to dissect it and feel okay about it. And also, life
Yeah.
doesn't stop. And we made this commitment, and it's been such a joy for me to have people reach out to me and tell me how impactful, or you said this thing, or this episode meant so much to me. And I've had friends text me and say, now we know Angie. It feels like she's our friend too. And, like, I sent you a screenshot of that one text, and it's
Yeah.
been such a joy to have that connection to people and have them learn something or
Mhm.
hear something new or gain something. And I was talking to someone, and I said, do you, when you listen, do you feel like do you have a takeaway? Are you getting what you need? And she said, really, what I feel like
Mm.
is recognized. I see myself in some of the things that you're saying, and I feel recognized, and that's all I need. And I just was so touched by that. I was really,
Yeah,
really
I
touched
love
by
that.
that. So that's been a really great thing, is the feedback that I've
Yeah,
gotten from
yeah, I
people.
love that. I've had a lot of
Yeah,
fun, and it hasn't felt
me
like
too.
work, which is really nice because I've worked a lot in my life and in my day, right? And it felt like, yeah, just like, "Oh, this is kinda fun," and even, like, editing it and doing that is kind of like work to it, but it's like, "Oh, wow, we said that." I mean, and with my dissociative disorder, I was like, "We said that?"
I know.
Oh,
It was so funny
admitted that?
because I just, due to our works, I know, and due to our work schedules, I end up editing more episodes than you do, and so when there's one that you edit and I then have the
Yeah,
social media clips, when you edit an episode,
yeah,
you hear it so many times, like over and over and over again. And so I know them by heart. But the ones that you've done, and then I see the social media clips, I'm like, oh my gosh, we said that, or like it'll be something that I said or that you said that
yeah,
is funny, and we're laughing, and I'm like, oh my god, that's
yeah,
so
I
funny.
know.
It's
No,
like a
it's a total
surprise.
surprise. It
I
was
know.
like when you're when we did the healthy relationships podcast, you're like, "I'm not quite sure about this one." And I listened to it, I was like, "I think that was actually pretty good." And I texted you, I was like,
No, I
that was
really was
surprisingly
like,
good." Like, I
I
was
know.
there. I know, no recollection.
Yeah, and you're
Absolutely.
still surprised by it, which is funny because the next question we had is what has been your favorite moment? And I have thought of mine,
No.
but have you thought of yours? Oh my gosh, the funniest thing that the relationship episode, if everyone probably doesn't remember it the way we do because we hear them so many times. At the very end, I leaned in and I said, babe, if you're listening to this, don't tell me, right? This man, tell me why. At one point, he says to me, I said, have you ever listened to an episode? And he was like, part of them, yeah. And I said, what do you mean part of it? Like you started it and then you paused it and
Yeah.
were like, this isn't for me. And he was like, well, no, truthfully, I've just seen the clips on social media. I haven't listened to one yet. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
okay, that's fine.
yeah.
Like that was fine with me. One night we're sitting on the couch and he's like laughing really hard and he's got his AirPods in. And I'm like, what are you doing
Stop.
right now? And because I have trained him to be more quiet
Yeah,
when he's
yeah.
watching funny TikToks, right? And so I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm listening to your podcast. And I was like, oh my God, not right next to me. You're not supposed to do it on the couch with me. And he's like saying little things, whatever. I don't know what episode he's listening to. He was listening to that episode and at the very sitting next to me on the couch. And I was like, this is not okay with me. So at the very end, when I said, "Hey, babe, if you're listening to this, don't tell me," I could tell when he reached that because he just looked at me and he goes, "I'm not listening to your podcast."
Oh my god, that's so good. Todd
Oh
would
my god.
he's not gonna listen to
Oh,
any of it. I don't have to worry about that because my husband is like, no social media, and I mean legitimately no social media. Like, when
yeah,
him and I got together, I tried to do
that's so lucky.
the normal deep dive that you would do on somebody, and he has 0,
Mm.
just about 0 internet presence. So he is like, no Facebook, no
Ugh,
nothing.
I wish.
I don't even think he would know how to get to the Spotify link or the Podbean link or any of that, so we're really safe.
That's true.
No,
Yeah, if
he's
you
not
don't have
gonna get a
social
clip
media, how do you
across a
find
thing.
it?
However, that relationship one, I was watching, I think, one of the clips, and it was about having a healthy relationship in a container of a healthy relationship, right? And he goes, "Was that you?" And I was like, "Really? This is the time that you actually hear something that's going on?"
Close
Seriously.
those ear
You
holes.
won't hear anything else when we're actually having conversations. You hear this? And I was like,
So
"Yes."
funny.
So I had to tell him, he's like, "You talk about me?" I'm like, "Maybe,
No,
kinda.
that's
I say nice
me.
things."
I know. Yeah, I know. It's this weird thing of like, I know my friends and family are going to listen to it
Mhm.
at some point, and that's the
Yeah.
point of having it, that
Yeah.
people listen to it, and I want them to listen to it, and I want strangers to listen to it, but I don't want anyone to tell me they're listening to it. But I
Yeah.
do, but
We're
I
so
don't. I'm not
complicated
sure
as
how to handle
people.
it yet.
I'm just proud of us that we've
I know.
done it. We've done it.
Too.
I don't know if I
Me
have
too.
a
And we
yeah.
have some good bloopers. We have to like that one time where our microphones weren't working and it just kept echoing and we just laughed for like 25 minutes watching each other laugh. Literally.
We can probably pull the one where I just had to go to the bathroom so bad and had to stop stop mid conversation. Like,
For sure. When you did that, I was like, oh,
oh,
that's not,
yeah,
I'm putting
and
that in a
honestly,
blooper
like,
reel.
y'all will notice it once if you go back because I was absolutely fidgeting in my
Yeah.
chair, and I am like, "What is my problem?" Like, I am 50 years old. Why does
Yeah.
my bladder respond this way?
You know
It's
what I
rude.
want? this is a big ask of people. We look at our metrics, right? I'm not caught up in them because that's really not
Yeah.
why I'm doing this project.
Yeah.
But of course, I look at them. And I can tell that there is a group of people that watch it on YouTube, and there's a separate group that listen to it on a podcast platform. I have a general sense that most of the people that I know are on this podcast platforms. Who, if you are watching this on YouTube, who are you? Tell me. I have to know. I
You
need
know,
to
it's so funny,
know.
like, all my husband does is watch any of his podcasts, they're all on YouTube. Yeah.
I do too. I do both, but I watch a lot on YouTube. But I have a feeling that the people watching it on YouTube, they
Yeah.
might not be like
Yeah.
very familiar to me. And so if you could just let me know who you are, that would just really satisfy some curiosity on my
Yeah.
part. Thank you for listening. And I hope that you have liked seeing this. You've seen me cry.
Yeah.
You've seen me drink a lot of
You
sodas.
have? I don't think I've ever seen you drink.
I'm always drinking a drink and you
That is not
never
true.
are.
I
And
just
then like I
literally
started
did
to
just
notice,
a minute. Yes.
really?
Yes.
You drink a drink? Where is it?
No, every single episode.
Huh. I never noticed that. You know what I notice is that when you're talking, I always have such an intense face because I'm just listening, but it looks not right. So I've actively been trying to like when you're talking so that I'm not like, because this is what it looks like. And I want it to look like this.
No,
I know.
no,
There's
I
so much
totally
wrong
get
with
that
me.
because okay, so I chew nicotine gum, right? And I for the last 3, I have not,
Okay.
but I am constantly chewing while you're talking, and and it drives me
Really?
bananas when I am editing. So, I don't know if y'all have seen that.
It's so
If you
funny.
don't normally see it, let me know because 'cause I'd love to have nicotine gum, like, 24/7. I'm good with that, but, um,
Seriously. It's like these little things that I've started to notice like in episode. Like, am I making my active listening face that looks really mean? Am I like whatever? I always say yeah in between everything you say. I've been trying to stop doing that because it's a pain to edit them out. And your editing thing is you have huge gaps in between your words. Huge gaps. And there's been times where like you've been thinking and I've been like, well, gonna have to edit this out. But it's so much easier to
yes,
edit the word gaps than it is
yes.
to edit the yas. And so your quirk is way
No, I
easier than
say
my
right,
quirk.
light, right,
You do say
right,
that a lot.
right. The amount of times that I have taken that word out,
Yeah.
luckily, I don't
Right?
actually really care too much because you know, I think it's one of the joys
Has
of
it
my dissociative disorder. Once something is done, it's legitimately done.
it's done.
And so, you know, yeah, like,
Not me.
even just asking for, like, a recap is I have to actually go back
Yeah.
and think I actually have to look at my paper, and I have to be like, "Okay, like, what did
Mm-hmm.
we even talk about?" Like, we did an episode, "How do you show up even if you don't want to?" That was
Okay, is that
5.
episode number
Yeah.
5? Okay, that episode, I need to go back and listen to it because that is actually our most
Really?
downloaded episode.
I wonder if that
Hmm. And I mean, we haven't published everything yet. And so as of right now, where we have released through
yeah.
week 8 is what is out
Mm.
there right now. Episode 5 is by far the
We've
most
released
downloaded
through
episode.
9 now. Yeah. Yeah.
9. That's right.
But
9.
I wonder if that's more a sign of the times than anything, of showing up even when we don't want to. You know what I mean? Like the name of
Maybe.
it.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I have no clue.
yeah. Well, the name of it, no, that's not even the name of it. That's why I wasn't sure what that episode was. The name of it was something about purpose and
Ah,
tiny steps forward. Yeah. So next season, we teased it a little bit at the beginning of this one. We are going to have some guests next season, but we're also going to change our schedule, not our
yeah.
schedule format.
Yep.
We're doing something a little different.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Let's say that. So next season we have 3 topics, and we are going to do 4 episodes under each topic, and they'll be spaced out. So it'll be like topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, and then we'll circle back to topic 1 and kind of go in that way through the whole season. So we will have 12 full episodes
Mhm.
covering 3 topics and then a recap episode at the end of this season. So do you want to
Yeah, I'm
introduce what our
super
topics
excited
are?
for the way that we kind of structured out next season. We
Me
talked
too.
about doing full entire seasons of each one of these, and they honestly could be full entire seasons of each one.
Yeah.
But in our quest to not leave anybody out, there are some of us who are not parents, right? There's some of us that are. There are some of us that are, really good at some of these other things. So we are going to touch on for 4 episodes joy and happiness, which I'm not actually quite sure how I feel about that one. I know that it will be good though. The 4 episodes after that, or the next episode arc, I should say, is spirituality, which could be probably 17 episodes. Yeah, that's it's a
Seriously.
it's a it's a big one, but we're gonna talk about just 4 of those. And then our last series is our parenting one. So really being able to kind of look at some of the different aspects of parenting, but we all know that could be a few seasons on its own.
There's people who their whole
Mhm.
podcast is about parenting and whole podcasts
Yeah.
about spirituality. So I'm super excited for it. I think um, I'm really excited for the
Yeah.
spirituality one, really confident
Yeah.
about the parenting one, and a little nervous for joy and happiness. You and I both talked about before about how we struggle to embody
Mhm.
joy, especially. So maybe that will be like the forgiveness
Right.
piece of this season where we really walk away with
Yeah.
some strategies. I'm excited, and we're going to have guests. We'll have at least one
Yeah.
guest in each arc, and we're really excited about that to introduce, especially because in one of those guests is one of our very
Mhm.
dear mutual friends who I'm really excited to introduce to everyone so much, so much. And so, really looking forward to that. And so, then I guess I would just say, this does take a lot out of me emotionally. I think the vulnerability that I have really tried to bring to these conversations, it
Mhm.
takes a lot, right? And so I am curious, what are you doing over the next break time to kind of like gain that energy
Yeah.
back or
Yeah.
recover from the
Yeah, no, and
vulnerability
honestly,
hangover?
vulnerability hangover is, like, so real, and, throughout this whole process, e especially as we kind of got deeper, the first couple episodes just kind of talking about ourselves, but there's a whole different vulnerability piece of, like, this is the first time we're doing this is gonna be kind of public, but we got kind of deep into some of those pieces, and so throughout each one of them, I typically can't do any work the rest of the day. And I shouldn't say can't, I don't. I am like, "You know what? I've done a lot today, and I'm just gonna let this sit, and I'm gonna let this integrate, and we're just gonna see kind of what comes up," and that has helped it not have that long-term piece to it.
Yeah.
Today
Yeah.
I do have to work because I unfortunately just have things that are already scheduled in that piece. So we'll see what that looks like, how long of a time it takes to recuperate. But I do think I'm actually going to go back and I'm gonna challenge myself to listen to some of the episodes because typically if you've edited them, I did not go and listen to them. And yeah, I think I'm going to do that to kind of keep that energy piece of it up enough that it doesn't kind
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
fall aside. What about you?
Am in a different place in my life that I've ever been in before. And so I'm a little bit on, I don't want to say uneven ground because
Yeah.
that's not how I feel.
New territory.
I was I'm in very,
Yeah.
very new territory. Yes. I'm not really working very much right now. That's very
Mhm.
unusual for me. And I have like two different lives, right? Like I have a week when I have my daughter and I'm intensely parenting. And then I have an entire week where I can just
Yeah.
be me and I just have me and my husband, obviously. But having pulling back from work a little bit has given me more free time than I've ever had in my life
Right,
in the
right.
outside world on the
Yeah,
other side of our
yeah.
barbed wire fence. And I'm not really sure what I'm doing right now. So I have decided that over the next couple of weeks, kind of as we take a break and before we ramp up into doing like these our next season, I am really going to lean into
Nice.
creativity. I've decided that that's something that I really
Mhm.
haven't done. Most of the work that I do has
Mhm.
been really
Mhm.
serious and in like the trauma
Mhm.
field or recovery or and I would like to have
Nice.
some fun and
Yes.
be more light. And I am, personally going through something very
Yeah.
hard. I do not
Yeah,
want to
no.
unravel right now. So I am ready to do something fun and creative. And so I'm looking at some art stuff. I'm looking at writing, trying to find an outlet for some creative writing and really looking forward to. And I'm hopeful that when we get into the joy and happiness episodes, that this will kind of like segue me into prepping for deciding to open up to joy and
Yeah,
happiness a little bit. So that's fingers
I love
crossed what
it.
I'm going to be doing.
I love it. Yeah, I love that you're doing the kind of creative pieces for that outlet. I do think joy and happiness, it's one of the pieces that I think we've talked about before that I've been intentionally trying to access that. We've talked about before, you and I, that it's just really difficult, and so you might have to add some of that to it in the meantime.
Maybe work on lowering our resistance to the
Yes.
topic.
Yes.
I think that's how I'm thinking of
Mhm.
my creativity is if I can access that really creative part of my brain openly and
Yeah.
without judging it, that I might lower my resistance to joy and happiness. I think there might be some
Absolutely.
linkage there that I'm interested
Yeah,
to explore.
absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, well, I cannot believe it. We are there. Yes, thank you
We did it.
everybody who has listened this first season, and we are truly thankful that you are here. Would love to hear any feedback you have, any requests for episodes, any of those kinds of pieces, and we will meet back. Let me look.
Oh yeah, when do we come back? I will keep our social media active. I have some bloopers I'm gonna post. I have some like priming the pump kind of things to post. And so you'll still see us on social media. We love hearing from you. And thank you so much for all the likes and the shares and the feedback. And
Yes,
we're
and we
so
will
grateful.
launch season 2. It will launch on Thursday, August 6th. So keep an eye out
Oh
and
yeah.
have
See
a
you
great
there.
summer, everyone.
Thank you so much for listening and being here for our first season. We are so grateful for all of our listeners. We will be back on August 6th with our first episode in the Joy and Happiness series. Be well. See you soon.